In 2013, I was living in El Salvador with my mom and my father. And it wasn't safe for us anymore. Our life was in danger, and I was also pregnant, and I was concerned about myself and my little one inside. So we decided that we're going to apply as a refugee claimant. It was good that I felt my parents are with me, but it was a little bit extra pressure as well, because I want to make sure they settle as well and they learn the language.
When we came to Canada, our English level was very low, and we couldn't have an in-depth conversation. And for us, was very challenging to do friendships, to have relationships with others.
So it was a lot of uncertainty of not knowing, like, what's gonna happen next, if we're doing the proper steps, but at the same time, the staff and volunteers make it a little bit easier and provide us a little bit of peace and calm. They will sit with us at the table with all the guests from different countries and ask about cultures and talk about the Canadian culture. But they will also pray for us, and so I started feeling like a little sense of community. You need someone that knows about this place you're in now, that is very different. Like, taking the bus is different, the language is different, the processes, and just having someone that is there and wants to kind of guide you through is very comforting, and allows you to settle better, I feel.
Back home, I worked for more than 20 years on financial institutions. I climbed the ladder from teller to branch manager. And when I came to Canada, I knew that I want to work in this field. But the biggest challenge that I had was the language, and find a mentor to guide me through the process.
Back in El Salvador, I was taking business administration, and I was about to graduate when things became really unsafe for us, and we moved to Canada. When I first arrived to Canada, I found out that there are many community agencies that help newcomers and other people in need in the community, and that really inspired me. And I wanted to do a job that is similar to us. So that's when I really wanted to pursue a career in community services. And I faced different struggles, like finding childcare for my newborn baby, and just knowing how to apply places and how to start a program.
I had to work in different fields. I was working at the hospital. I was volunteering.
I knew I needed to start working right away, and I wanted to start contributing and making ends meet for me and my family. Well, my parents were settling too, because it was taking them longer to learn the language, and they couldn't start right away. So I started working for an international boarding school, initially with night shifts. And that was part of the struggle as well, like working all night long and then not having much energy for my newborn baby that wanted to play. After a couple of different jobs, even with the city of Hamilton as a youth engager, I decided to be a foster mom for a year. And I helped about 10 different kids, just to feel loved and protected and secure in our home. And after that year, I decided to work for the school board as an educational assistant, and that's the work that I'm doing at the moment.
Now I am working on Canadian financial institutions, helping customers in English and Spanish. Oh, I am happy working. I am happy working at the bank, because it's the similar things that I did before, that I have experienced for a long time, yeah.
faith has been a very important part of the whole journey. And I feel like we get closer to God when we need Him the most. And being in a new place and feeling all that uncertainty and it's all level fear of what's next, like fear of the new place, fear of like going back. Like if there is like a negative decision, being able to feel connected with God through prayer and getting some peace is really, it makes a difference in the journey, I feel. Like I don't think I could have done it without that sense of someone is looking after me and that sense of being taken care of and being loved, even when things look difficult or not fair.
My faith played a very important role. It's allowed me to stay calm, even on times that uncertainty.
I think Canadian churches could help newcomers by approaching them, and I feel like there is a fear of Canadian people in general, like at churches or outside of like, maybe it's better if I don't approach because I might offend. What if am I saying something wrong or is offensive, and they end up not approaching newcomers, and then that creates a barrier and making the newcomers feel isolated or not welcome. When it's better just to approach and maybe say, is it okay what I say, or is this, but just not having the feeling of approaching someone just because it's different or new. I just wanted a sense of community of people that has faith and think alike about loving creation and each other and a God. I remember trying to apply to this apartment and they didn't want to rent it to us because they're afraid like, oh, what if they have to go? Then they will have to just leave the apartment, and they have their concerns. Mm-hmm. And that was challenging. I remember like a couple of friends had to advocate for us and like kind of have extra warrantors when other people wouldn't need them. And that's part of the challenge, and just feeling not really welcome yet. It feels like being in a land but not really a home. So after 5 years of living here in Canada, I applied for Canadian citizenship, and I wrote a test, and I had an English language test as well, like a little interview. And I passed my test successfully. We had a ceremony, and it was a nice day. It felt like a really happy day. My parents and I were overcome with the emotion of becoming Canadian citizenship, and just felt like we're staying here and this is our home now.
This is the place that we have to stay and try to do the best for our life, for our grandchild, and for the neighborhood, for the people who we live. And really was very comfortable notice to know that we now have the citizenship and we belong to Canada. Now we feel that this is our home.
I have faith, and I believe that the future is a bright future for me and my family, being Canadians and building a home here, and generations of more Canadians to be born. So my son was born here as a Canadian citizenship, and I just can't wait to grow older and see him having his own little family.
That's beautiful.